A lot of stick fighting methods on the market out there, and I know we'll ruffle some feathers, but we have to stick with what has been proven to work and documented to cause injury and kill in police reports and in military reports. Those items that cause the most injury are pipes, bats, axe handles, and billy clubs. All of them have the needed weight to cause rapid, blunt force trauma. Even though eskrima sticks are fast and they will cut you when they're swung and cause some injury, but they are not swung and practiced in a manner that will provide a lot of stopping power. You know, an arm can easily be sacrificed to neutralize the weapon. Your best bet is anything with some weight to it. The best length for a close quarters weapon is anything that can be held across your body comfortably in a relaxed, ready position with only a few inches on either side of the weapon. Again, using your weapon increases your effectiveness for killing the target or incapacitating or disorienting, depending on how hard and how often you hit him and, of course, the toughness of your target. Primary targets. Typical targets to cripple, or cause death, or seriously incapacitate would be the head, the chin, the throat, anywhere in the skull, and the testicles. Secondary targets that will cripple or incapacitate: midsection, bladder, solar plexus, turn around, kidneys, okay, spine, come back. Okay, your liver and gallbladder, pancreas. Okay, tertiary targets. These will also cripple or incapacitate: knees, shins, forearms, elbows. Okay, these will cause pain and discomfort while you continue to attack your target. Okay, given your line of work, you may whack. Okay, just get a little reaction out of them, and then, get them to move where you need them to do, get them to move where you need them to go, or do what you need them to do, make them compliant. Okay, there are a lot of tricks out there with using the weapon to restrain somebody. This is not one of those training videos. This video is about attacking your target in the most, in the highest percentage to cause the greatest amount of damage as quickly as possible. So stances and grips. Like all self-defense situations, you never want to tip your hand to signify your intentions to your target until you spring into action. It's also important to appear non-threatening to eyewitnesses. If you hold the club in a particular manner that signifies your intention of using this can and will be used against you if you have to take the stand. In law enforcement, this is extremely problematic and could cost you your livelihood. So, in order to prevent that, there are 3 basic positions that will allow you to complete effectiveness at close range. First is the figure 4. Hold the stick in your strong hand, tuck it under your arm. Again, you're holding it thumb side up, tucking it underneath. Take your other hand, wrap it underneath, and wrap your wrist. Tuck your thumb underneath and hold it in this position. Again, arm clamped down, just a few inches of the club showing, holding it nice and tight. Position 2 is the side relaxed position. Holding the short end of the stick, let it hang loosely by your side. Okay, from this position, you'll be able to bring the stick up into a reverse grip position in a front stance and be ready to go. And then this brings us to the reverse grip in front. You simply hold the weapon horizontally across the front of your body with each hand gripping in the opposite direction. Okay, this would be your strong side, this would be your rear side, your weak side. So again, either of these types of positions are not what one would associate with an aggressive stance. An aggressive stance. Okay? For here, and definitely, he thinks he clearly has the advantage because once he's imagining this. Okay? He's not imagining this. So, swinging the club. There are really 8 effective ways or 8 directions to swing the club. And this can be done with either one or two hands. So if you are swinging like a bat or an axe hammer, you want to think of cutting when you're swinging and cutting through, not tapping. Okay, in the street, power is king. So you want to cause as much ballistic damage as possible. Okay, the swings are not opening techniques. We wouldn't fight like you would a typical eskrima with these types of methods. These are finishing techniques. Okay, once you have him in a position where he is incapacitated and down, and now I've got to cut him down. Now I'm breaking him down. Okay, these to hit with power takes far too long, and it's far too open. Okay, your opponent could easily close the distance on you as you start to swing. He would sacrifice a limb here, okay, and then the fights, then you got to deal with them. Okay, so all the following can be done with one or the two hands. Again, it depends on the weight of the weapon and how much power you need to put into the blow. First is going to be that horizontal cut straight across. So it's going to be in a tight position, you're going to swing and just cut right across. It can go to the neck, the skull, the arm, the midsection, doesn't matter. Come to the side of the knee, okay, shin, doesn't matter. Anywhere along this plane will cause damage. Again, that's the beauty of weapons. So that's the horizontal across. Similar to our edge of hand. Okay, now we've got horizontal back. Again, coming to the skull, the neck, the arms. Again, any of those planes coming across. Use another leg forward, coming to the inside of the knee, the shin, the sciatic. Okay, again, it snaps, cuts like your edge of hand. Again, same body mechanics. Same body mechanics. Next is going to be this vertical down strike. And striking straight down to the skull, to the collarbone, to the hand, to the knee. Okay? Anything. Bang! Smashing on the top of the foot. Right? Doesn't matter. Again, very similar to your vertical edge of hand downward. Next is the vertical edge of hand up. Again, to the testicles, to the midsection, to the jaw or the throat. Again, edge of hand, edge of hand, edge of hand. Same movement. If you get jammed, it's going to come in with a butt stroke. Okay. Next would be following diagonally down. So we're going to be cutting straight down. Imagine cutting right through him and coming out the other side. So you cut straight down. This is cutting across. Now we're going to cut diagonally down and back. Cut again. So cut, cut. Okay, two hands, cut, cut. Horizontal, cut, cut. Boom. Okay. Next is diagonally up and across from this direction. Again, not the most natural movement, but it's just a slight angle off center line. Okay, so cutting up, anything on that horizontal plane. I would cut up, up and across. And then conversely, coming diagonally back and across. A more natural movement, back. Again, coming up into the shin, skulls, bladder, midsection, neck. Okay? So, in close quarters combat, these are just the basic 8 strikes. Okay, gross motor skills. Gross motor skills. Again, as you're training this instinctively and convulsively. Again, the single-handed strikes are good finishing techniques. But as far as close quarter combat, there is nothing more effective than two-handed strikes with the clubs. Now, these techniques are banned from most sporting events due to the violent nature and the effectiveness of these strikes. They work with the same convulsive stomping footwork that you've been training all along. First, we're going to come with this from a reverse grip position. We're going to do this cross cut. You're going to be aiming at the midsection. Again, imagine just sitting here being approached, and then you're going to cut across the abdomen, actually hook it at the end. at the end, just aiming about 1 inch below the surface. So this is just going to be step, cross cut. Okay, and I would step and move myself into the target. Again, if you notice my feet, just like we were always taking ground, you're going to want to be where the man is standing. Okay, so I'm splitting the plane. I'm still entering on that line intersected by a perpendicular line, and that's the way we're moving in. Same, just as module 1. Just as module 1. The only variation on this is with the pivot step. So if I were to change direction, I had to step and hook. Okay? So pivot, cross cut. Again, excellent technique, changing direction, moving, there's my shoulder. Okay, again, you're learning how to fight with a weapon, not, fight with the club, not club fighting. Okay, following this, hook, another excellent technique is that forward thrust. Lead hand, it could go into the midsection, into the sternum, into the throat, into the face, anything on that center line. Anything on the center line. Again, remember, your grip dictates which is your strong side, which is your forward, this is your weak. So your forward side is the fingers facing out. Okay, rear side, fingers facing in. Good. So now we have the forward thrust, and then there's the backward thrust. So from here, we step, and just the same motion, driving into the target. Again, it follows the same path. Again, if I reverse my grip, remember, train out of one stance. Train out of one grip. Okay, so always do your strong side, always do what's comfortable. So again, here, this is similar to the edge of hand, vertical edge of hand. In here, again, edge of hand. Here, edge of hand. Okay, no difference. Just the difference I'm holding the club. Again, your approach from behind, or you need to change. Here, and move in. Move in. Next, it's going to be this figure 4 grip. Okay, this was like the first grip I ever learned. You use the figure 4 grip to drive the butt of the weapon anywhere in your target. So you're going to be driving midsection, solar plexus, throat, head. Okay. Okay, again, similar to that horizontal edge of hand, same body mechanics. Raj, come back for a sec. So we're here, so we move in. Okay, taking ground, moving him forward, attacking that center line. Out of the figure 4 position, so we had the rear thrust, not a particularly strong technique, but if I'm approaching from the rear, I need to get him back, move him. Again, he does something like grab my club. Okay, you continue to attack. Continue to attack. Again, you have the weapon, you use the weapon, but don't get hung up on the weapon. Okay, don't get hung up. So, as if someone grabs it, gets tied up, immediately attack the man. Again, just the same as we did with our weapons defense. Attack the man, attack the man, attack the man. So, next, we move out of just to this reverse grip position again. So we're going to do a butt stroke down. Okay, it's done with the lead hand to the front, the weapon, and you're simply going to drop it into the target. So it's going to snap into the head, into the neck, chest, butt stroking down. So it's done with the lead hand. Lead hand. Okay, butt stroke up. It's done with the rear hand. Now I'm striking the weapon straight up, just like your chin jab. Strikes. And again, all these are excellent with follow-ups. Excellent follow-ups. So, after the rear butt stroke, now from the figure 4 position, we have the butt stroke up. Again, this follows the same path as the chin jab. Again, I want you to look at the short edge of hand, and then, so this strikes straight up, straight up. And of course, following that is the figure 4 butt stroke down. Especially if we're in a closed position and I can't move and I need space. Okay, even if it gets him to flinch now, so I'm here, he's on me, let's see, even grab. Okay? You can move. It'll create some space for you. Okay, if you get jammed up as you're hitting him, and you move back, and now you're just, he's pinned against the car or something, up, down, as you transfer into your next technique. Next is going to be the crossbar smash upward. So, it can be done with a reverse grip. If you get caught out of a figure 4 position, here or here, in the same side grip, that's okay too. So, a reverse grip position. Okay, you're going to drive the club upwards, into his chin and into his neck. Okay, and it just drives. So you got 2 options for this. You can smash it and snap it into position, or you can drive it, and knee him and drive him in. Okay, so imagine driving him while you're kneeing him, and then he's tripping over things, over debris on the ground. Okay, imagine, if you will, getting snapped with that type of blow. Okay, 2 hands, both arms, power, extremely effective, extremely devastating. Typical follow-up to this is the cross arms bar smash downward. So it'd be smashing up and driving it down. Make sure you drop your weight into the strike. Drop it into the strike. Now, next, moving into that side thrust. So this is just typically from the side position. So a front thrust, our hips are facing this way. Side thrust, our hips are the side, similar to our elbow strike, our double elbow strike, which would be, here or locked here. It's the same. Thrust, and then to the rear, same position, just changing my grip, just going the other direction. Okay. Next, we'll move into the relaxed stance. From this position, typically you'll be swinging it up, but you may be in a situation where you just need to drop this as quickly as possible. So this is just going to be a butt strike up. This is going to be a butt strike up. You're going to just drive it straight into the chin, the head of your target. I mean, you may be approached while you're in this relaxed stance and you need to create some spaces as quickly as possible without telegraphing it. So simply just raising it strike up, again, getting him to move before you move into him. Right? That pretty much covers the basic strikes. I mean, with those strikes, as you practice those individual attacks, you'll be able to put some combinations together. Okay, next we're going to move into our combination drills, just to give you some idea of something that you can work on. Once you're comfortable with the individual strikes, you can put the combinations together. You'll find they move easily in all 4 directions, and you'll see how they'll fit right in with your hand-to-hand. Okay, you have to be effective from all directions, and you can't forget your knees, elbows, headbutts, stomps, and kicks. So the first one is going to be out of the figure 4 stance. It's going to be front thrust twice. Okay, then we're going to butt stroke up and butt stroke down. Then we're going to come up with a crossbar smash and then a knee. Okay, so again, we're going to do 1, 2, up, down, knee. Okay, you better move. Move, make sure you're moving. Okay, so again, make sure your partners are moving because you want to practice taking that ground. Okay, and if you are working with a partner, you're going to see on the training dummy, but just putting out using a kicking shield is an excellent way to practice this. Taking ground and attacking. Next combination is going to be the front thrust twice, crossbar smash up, and crossbar smash down. Okay, this time coming out of the figure 4, you're just gripping it this way with a forward grip. So from here. Now, from a rear position, we're going to rear strike. Now we're going to come, pivot, side thrust. So, rear strike. From again, the last one from the figure 4 position. Lead, front kick, front, forward thrust. Now, we're going to come up, forward butt stroke, and then just move to the rear, rear butt strokes. So, I'll back up a little bit. Okay, it's good to get excited, change it up, and just attack, moving all 4 directions. So, you're working here, pivot, and move. Pivot and move. If I needed to practice from this direction, so I'd see my threat here, step. Step and attack. Doesn't matter. See the threat. Any stance. Here, cut, pivot. Here, there, there. All 4 directions, completely effective. Next we'll move to combinations from the side, relaxed stance. So from here, just going to swing the club into your reverse grip, cross cut, front thrust low, front thrust high, smash up, smash down. Next, going to be taking it to that reverse grip. So you're going to come in butt strike from just a relaxed ready position. Butt strike up, tiger claw. Okay, now forward shoulder smash, crossbar smash up, crossbar smash down. Oh, the paddle piper. Okay. If you miss, it doesn't matter. Just go back and correct it again. Next, we'll just move right to the reverse grip. So it's going to be crossbar smash up, butt stroke down, front thrust, rear uppercut, crossbar smash. Again, crossbar smash, butt stroke down, uppercut, smash. Excellent. Okay, now to the rear. Again, this could be in a situation where you're about to get grabbed, or you're grabbed. So rear, foot stomp, and attack, and attack. Again, all grips and stances are interchangeable with technique. That's what makes them so effective. Practicing attacking in all 4 directions. You know, imagine that someone has also seized your weapon. Raj, put that down for a second. He's grabbing me. Again, when he's gripping the club and you're hitting and stomping, now I'm winding up to pull it back. It immediately releases the club. Immediately. Okay? Whenever possible, you know, you should be trying to strike with that club. But there are going to be some times where that's not possible. Now, there are a lot of ideas when it comes to using a stick in a grappling manner. Most are too complicated. A lot of times in grappling situations, the stick just simply gets in the way. But we're just going to go over some proven effective ways that a stick has been used in real hand-to-hand situations. Okay, we're going to start with the Japanese triangle. Again, you've got to be very extremely careful with this. Okay, in this instance, the stick plate replaces your forearm. Okay, or your hand. So if you're practicing this with a partner, make sure again they're sitting on their behind. Okay, so avoid, sliding across the neck. Avoid striking with the club because this will lead to wind up. So you just want to bring it across and hold the tip up as high as you can. Again, these types of things need to be trained and practiced quite a bit. Now, the hand is going to fall right under the stick will fall right in the crux of the elbow. The hand will come back. Now, one of the things, I'm trying to pull the stick back, okay, as I'm putting pressure with the back of my head and the back of my hand. Now, everything kind of rotates up, and I squeeze everything in while this hand pushes out. So push out, squeeze in, drive your head in to the back of his head. Make sure that your head is buried here, okay, and that's it. It should be instant. Again, this is something that most law enforcement are not allowed to do, simply because it is too brutal. Again, depending on how much pressure and how long, you can go from just making them pass out to crushing the larynx and the windpipe, and causing them to suffocate by completely cutting off the circulation and oxygen, depriving the oxygen to the brain. So, again, this comes up, hooks underneath, pull both hands back, and elbow comes back, hand comes back and rolls forward. This hand on the back of the head pushes forward along with the top of your head. Again, just like with all strangles, don't be leaving around up here, because he's going to start, even without any training, he's going to grab and try to, rip your eyes out. So that's the first strangle. The second strangle, which is, it's complicated. Even though it's going to appear to be simple here, but doing this in a fighting situation, grappling situation, is, risky. So as far as complicated techniques go, this is probably one of the most complicated ones that we'll teach, and it'll be the stretch of what you're going to be doing. So, holding the short end of the stick, long hand comes underneath. Now we're going to reach over the body and under the arm. And this is primarily where it gets complicated. The entry is complicated, and the pickup is complicated. Now I'm going to roll both hands forward and drive my elbows together. That's it. So this is going to roll, and you're going to drive. All right, ready? Again, as always, keeping your hand down, and it's got to be instant on. So again, this enters, it comes across, and I grab. Okay, now my chin is down, and I drive it in. That's the cross strangle. Now we'll move to the ground pin strangle, where you'll be in a mount position. So from here, reverse grip or straight grip, either or, you're just going to drive the weapon in and just drive it into the ground. Okay, really just smashing the windpipe. Okay, driving into the ground. Really, not much technique in this, none whatsoever, except that how you're gripping it and that you're putting all your weight right onto his windpipe. Okay, and that's it. Okay, be very, very, very careful if you're practicing this with a partner. Very careful. Okay, those are three, basic strangles. We can't talk about doing, a reverse strangle from here. But again, if you wind up in this position. But again, the reality of it is, I'd rather spend my time doing the next ground and pound with the stick than, practicing to try to get a, reverse strangle. So as far as strangles goes, that's it. Okay, from the standing position, just turn around, Rush. You have three basic ways to get into the strangle. First is the hip check. Okay, so we're going to hip check and lock them into position and hang them back. Make sure that, you're securing him, okay, before you're taking the weapon out. If you just hip check him, especially if he's smaller than you, he may go just flying away. All right, so when you come up on him, it is hook, bang, and hit. Hook and hit. So his reaction, again, if it's like a sentry type of situation, I'm moving in, his reaction is here, okay? Now it's done. Okay, and you're moving him back. It's not going to automatically, okay, he's tired, you're going to be moving in, bang, hip. Okay, that's it. The other entry is the knee to the coccyx bone. Put this foot forward, Rich, just a little bit. Thanks, good. Okay, since driving the knee up, okay, and back. All right. Again, if I were to put technique to it, step as close to him as possible, bang, and drive your knee up. Lock. Lock. Okay. Again, these can be used for both strangles. Again, you know, the cross triangle just gets a little too complicated. A little too complicated. So, next is that cross stomp. Okay. To the back of his knee, driving it straight down. Okay? So make sure you catch him, because what will happen is he'll wind up going down to the ground. Okay? Then you're going to have to smack him. Not a bad thing, but that might not be what you need to do right now. So that just steps up, same footwork as the knee. Step, back foot horizontally into his back, and locking him up. Locking him up. You notice as I'm strangling, I'm walking backwards. So he's hanging himself on his weight and also keeping the weight on his heels. Because naturally, if we're in here and we're struggling and he happens to be live, he's going to want to turn. Right there and come out of it. Now I got to fight on my hands. So I got to keep him here, and the way to avoid that is to have him back on his heels. Okay. Next situation is if, like we mentioned before, he just grabs the weapon on me. He's got both. So immediately attack. Okay, if someone tries to seize your weapon, okay, their only intention is bad. Assume the worst and act accordingly. Don't wait. Fix your glasses and come back in. Okay? It doesn't have to be anything more than that. Okay? Don't grab, okay, start, mess around here. Fine, you just hold it, get over, okay? And just cut back and go. You're naturally going to do it. Naturally going to do it. Again, don't abandon your training and don't necessarily focus on the weapon. Okay, while you secure the weapon, you will use headbutts and shoulder smashes and knees and stomps and bites to release his grip. Okay, in the case of the club. Okay, there may be some time where you actually want to let go of it if you get messed up here, and just attack him. Okay, just abandon it. Okay, this comes directly from your past training. Okay, when you're aggressively moving forward and you have that mindset, these things will come naturally. And the only way they can be taught is what you're doing already by training. By training. In a ground situation, say we're in a mount position, okay, we would use butt strokes and crossbar smashes to finish him. Okay, so let's just say we're here, we're smashing and smashing and smashing. Okay, now we let the weapon do the work. Crossbar smash, just row the boat and dig and drive into him. Okay, attack him with strikes. If he grabs the weapon, seizes the weapon, headbutt, headbutt. Take it, okay? Give it to him and hack the hell out of him and attack him. Okay? If he's holding the weapon underneath and he has it, there's not a lot he can do. There's not a lot he can do. Okay? You can take one hand and continue to beat and hack him. Fight over. Fight over. Go from the guard. Same as before. We're here now. We're digging and digging and digging and hitting and gouging and smashing into him. And it hurts. It hurts him. And I continue to beat him and get up on my feet. And then here. Okay, and I'll continue to drive it into him and just tenderize him. Okay, after he's injured, you improve your position only after he's injured. Okay, do not get into a grappling situation where you're fighting over the stick. Okay, we're in here. Okay, he's strong, he catches a hold of it. Fine, hack him. Move him, hack him. Step him. Okay, don't mess around with it. Don't mess around with it. Okay, that concludes offensive weapons training. Again, fighting with the weapon, not weapon fighting. Next, we'll go to edged weapons or knife fighting. Next. Edged weapons or knife fighting has been simply overcomplicated and romanticized. The people in this world who have the most experience with using a knife as a weapon are not martial artists, law enforcement, or military, but prisoners. And most of them have never set foot in a dojo, took a seminar, anything else. They simply picked up the knife and used it. Okay, don't ever overcomplicate things. If you come to your point in your life where you have to stab someone in order to survive, you will not be thinking of which grip, what angle, and what the bleed time is. Okay, there are two basic types of knives that we're going to focus on. They're most commonly used. A knife will always tell you how to hold it. Okay, but you don't have to read too much into this. In the heat of the battle, you're just going to pick it up and use it. Remember, this isn't a martial art. This is a military knife system. Okay? It just has to work and get results, period. Just like hand-to-hand and firearms, there are two types of fighting with a knife, proactive and reactive. Proactive refers to time. If you have time to draw your weapon, okay, this will be your primary edged weapon, readily accessible. You'll have time to deploy the weapon right before you fight. Reactive knife fighting refers to secondary or hideaway knives. Boot knives, neck knives, and sleeve daggers fit into this category. You would use these in the midst of a fight. You would tear open your shirt and grab the knife, or you would be grappling situation. You would be in a position you would access the blade. With boot knives and sleeve daggers, if you have one, you better have two. There's a good chance your leg could be pinned, or the leg with the weapon on it could be pinned, or the arm with the knife on it could be pinned, and you can't access it. So don't put yourself in a situation that could be avoided for less than $20. If you have one, you better have two. Remember, no one, and I repeat, no one will ever be able to take this weapon away from you if you train in the methods that you're learning here. Even just a little, you will be extremely, extremely deadly. Again, the two blades we're focused on, this is a training knife, this is a straight blade, this is an Applegate Fairbairn fighting knife. Okay, it's a double-edged trainer. And then this is a plastic, but it is live and it does have an edge on it, push dagger. Okay, again, the only way to be holding these are just with either one, position two, we'll get into this a little bit more later, position one in a hammer grip, position two in an ice pick grip. Okay, so targets, primary targets, okay, midsection, bladder, stomach, intestine, okay, liver, spleen, pancreas, testicles, again, the throat, the neck, the eyes. Okay, you have your turning around. Kidneys, lungs. Okay, these would be your primary targets, and these would be your targets you would wind up once you started attacking them. Turn around, Rich. Thanks. Once you started attacking them and stabbing them repeatedly, that would be end game for you. Once you hit your target, you stay on your target, and you keep working that particular area. Secondary targets will be your arms, your brachial arteries, and then the legs, the femoral arteries. Okay. Again, as soon as you cut your target, the clock is ticking on them. The deeper, the more vital area that you hit, the faster that clock ticks. Remember, your target will not stop fighting, so you must continue to attack, cut, and fight. So you're going to be moving in a way that, again, anybody who's ever read a police report or even looked at, heard in the news, someone got shot someone got shot or someone got stabbed, 20, 12 times, whatever, and they lived because they didn't hit a vital target area. So you can't necessarily count on them, you stabbing them and them going to the ground automatically. Okay? And it's from a firsthand experience from one of our trainers who was in prison, and it was, the preferred technique for knife fighting was just coming up to your mark, grabbing and stabbing him and bringing him to the ground. That was it. That was it. So it wasn't about, what angle, what attack. No, you just grip them and go. Your grip is very important. So again, we talk about training grip a lot, and the stronger your grip, the more successful you're going to be. That's it. When you stab into a body, it's not a clean process. Okay, you will hit bone, clothing, the blood will cause the knife to become slippery and hard to handle. The body itself will literally create a vacuum and hold the weapon into place. And again, like I said before, people don't automatically die when you touch them. They will fight harder and become more violent. You will have to be able to stab, kick, hack, and gouge until it's all over. With this in mind, most grips taught in knife fighting systems simply will not work. Will not work. Fingers, this, the whole little, I'm holding it right out. I really, again, just even stabbing, what you're going to see in the training portion, is when you're stabbing the cardboard and you're working that way, there's really only one way to grip the knife. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be focusing on the two types of blades, straight blades and push daggers. Okay, they're only two ways you can effectively use these knives. Again, I'm sure there are a lot of experts who would disagree, but if you take the time and actually stab and cut and fight with the knife, there are really only a few options. So, straight blade grips. First, we're going to start with the hammer grip. You're simply picking up the knife and holding it like you would a hammer. Squeeze it. You can wrap your thumb over your index finger and your forefinger, and that'll provide you a little extra grip. Okay, but you have to squeeze it. Okay, this can be used in a plunging movement, okay, or a slashing movement. Okay, so really, when you're stabbing, okay, it's just stabbing and driving it into the target, and just like you were punching, the slashing, just cutting across or horizontal. We'll get into those in a little bit. The next type of grip is our ice pick grip. Okay, same grip as the hammer grip, only you just happen to pick up the knife this way. Squeeze it and hold on. Next we'll go to the push dagger punch. Okay, the weapon is held in the fist, can be used in that punching motion. Okay, you are essentially punching your target. You have to be careful, this is a live blade. You can see in low light conditions that there's no way you will know if this is a weapon or if you're fighting a boxer. Okay, this is why we train the empty hand techniques the way we do. Okay, you never ever know if it's a weapon, and you always assume that he's armed. Next is the push dagger hug. Again, you'll be holding the weapon secured in the thumb, pressed with your fingers, and just gripping onto the knife. And this is useful in grappling situations. We'd be locked up here and simply just plunging it into the closest target that I could find. Okay, and again, your thumb underneath will help you retract the weapon. Okay, again, these are the two primary weapons with the two basic grips on how to hold them. So now we're going to go with that hammer grip and that forward cross slash. So this forward, it travels downward across the body. His hands are up. It does, protecting himself. It doesn't matter. You're just cutting and slashing across. Remember, when you're fighting an armed target, when you're fighting an unarmed target or somebody with a weapon, you're going to always protect the weapon hand. The only time you're going to have the other hand forward is if you're fighting somebody with a knife. All right, so you always, and all possible, protect the blade, protect the knife. So we'll be fighting here and then moving in. Okay, so now we're just practicing on the single technique. So you got your forward downward slash, and then you got your forward upward slash. So it comes, okay, across the body, okay, across the target. Just penetrate slightly into the target and cut up. Okay, don't stay, when you're training, don't make these big movements. Keep it nice and tight. Okay. Next will just be your cross slash. Okay, same as the horizontal butt cut forward, and it comes across, 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 across. Now the backslash from the other direction, again, cut, cut, cut. So cross, back, cross, back. Okay. Next, we'll do the pommel stroke down. You know, sometimes we can't get the blade to the target, or you don't want to actually kill your mark. So by using the weapon as a fist pack, you can accomplish this. This time, you just drive the butt of the blade straight down, like you would a vertical edge of hand. So you just hit, and dig. Okay, in a situation where you may be coming up from the back, bang. Okay, his lights are out. Okay. Now you have pommel stroke across. So again, travels here into the side of the neck, into the temple. Okay, driving it straight across. Remember, watch the blade. Okay, this is just like your horizontal edge of hand, but just be careful here. Okay, hold the knife out. Hold it out. When you get training it, when you're practicing with a live blade, you'll develop these natural habits of keeping the knife out. Now, the slashes, that's it. And, you know, they're straightforward, simple. Okay? But slashes are the preemptive strike. Okay, you lead with speed, follow with power principle still applies. You slash, he reacts, then you stab. Okay? Now the single hand stab is done in a slightly upward motion. If you want to get a little technical on it, the blade follows in an elliptical path. Okay? But, you know, you won't fail if you just keep driving it into him. All right? Simply hold it like a reverse punch, grip it, and stick it. And you notice that I start grabbing and holding on it, onto my target. Okay, there's no martial arts expert in the world that will ever be able to take a knife away from you, even simply by grabbing in this manner. No one. Okay. Following that is what we're going to call the double hand stab. So you hold the knife, the hammer grip, simply cover it with your free hand, and stab into target. Again, it's an old jiu-jitsu technique. I think that it shows a lot of insight into the realities of actually stabbing somebody. And, you know, the idea of getting, you know, retrieving the weapon, you've got a greater chance. As far as, that's it, as far as technique with that particular grip. Nothing more, nothing more. Next, we move to an ice pick grip. Like we said before, it depends on how you pick this weapon up. You may just wind up grabbing the weapon and holding it in this manner. In the heat of the fight, I mean, who knows, who cares? So first we're going to start with that pommel stroke across. So like the hammer fist grip, you may be in a position or a situation where you can't use the blade, and now you would have to drive the knife across. So it would be here, driving it in to the temple, to the neck, the ear, okay, just, and just driving it in just like a fist pack. Contrary to that is the pommel stroke up. The strike comes up into the chin and the head, chin, head, or even testicles. Okay. Again, pommel stroke up. Following that is the cut straight across. Now it doesn't really matter what you hit. It can't matter. You just cut through your target. So you're going to just come across. Throat, slash the body, bladder, that, face. Okay, you're also going to notice that you're going to be hitting your knuckles a lot. All right, I mean, a lot of the guys like this, this stuff, but I mean, in reality, what's leading the blade? Your knuckles. Okay, so you have to, think about this when you're training. So preferably, if I had my druthers, I'd be using the hammer grip all the time. All the time. It allows more distance, and it puts the blade end first. And the closer that this is to him, the faster he gets stabbed with it. Okay, the stab across now usually follows that slash. And it can go into any part of the body. any part of the body. Just bring it across like the edge of hand strike. So you've got slash, you've got pick into the side of the head, into the rib cage, into the bladder. Now coming up into the testicles, into the groin, coming down. And again, that also, of course, you've got the ice pick stab, not the big wind up here, but okay. And as the same token to that, you've got the slash coming up, especially after the pommel stroke. All right. Of course, similar to the hammer grip double hand, you've got the double hand stab across, stabbing in, stabbing in, stabbing in on that horizontal plane. So it could be and then you've got the double hand stab down. Okay? So that is really the basic core, stabbing and slashing techniques from fighting with a straight blade. Okay, now the push dagger punch. Okay, use the knife in a boxing type manner. Again, there's nothing more to it. Attacking the eyes, attacking the midsection, moving in. Okay, in a grappling situation where we're locked up, you can just simply use rabbit punches and just start doing your damage into the side of his neck, into his kidneys, anywhere. Stab whatever is not you. Okay. Same thing whether on our feet on the ground. We've got this what we mentioned before. We've got the push dagger hug grip, and we'll be locking and driving it straight in, back of the neck, lungs, kidneys, again, and just drive and drive. And you'll be using this in conjunction with blows, rights, and stabs. Okay? So, and that's, and that's all you need to know for the push dagger. I mean, there's not much to it. Again, strengthening your grip. Really two ways you're going to grab it. And that's it. This was a proactive situation where we had time to grab the weapon. Now we're just going to talk about reactive situation and concealment. And in these situations, concealment is your best weapon. Again, some of the most popular, easiest places to conceal a weapon are on the legs, inside and out, around the belt, sometimes the lower back, the sleeve, and the neck. Okay, there's no real training per se, but you will practice striking and holding and drawing the weapon. I mean, that's the only technique. The rest of it is gripping the knife and stabbing. I mean, most of those situations will happen on the ground. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you're going to carry any of these weapons, okay, if I were to carry any type of weapon, it would be a concealed. It would be, a concealed weapon, one that would be on my boot, my boots, or on my sleeves, and that would be, the primary. You really only would carry, one primary type weapon, which you can easily just grab and deploy automatically. We've handled the basic stabs and slashes with both types of weapons. Now we're going to move to proactive fighting from a static situation on our feet. Okay, proactive stances take the place of your interview stance. Here you already have had time to draw your primary weapon and conceal it from view. Okay, whenever possible, you protect the blade. The only time the blade is in front is when you're faced with a knife. And again, these situations are extremely rare. In all of close quarters combat studies and field reports studied by Fairburn, there's only one instance of a knife-to-knife situation. This is because when you have intent, you attack. There's no messing about. So there are a few interview positions, and there's going to be 4 primary for the straight blade, which is going to be the interview position, arms folded with the hammer grip. So again, it's in front. He doesn't know we have a knife. Okay, it is just concealed underneath and just next to our body. Okay. Next is the arms by your side, hands, weapon pressed in your thigh, again concealed from his view. Next will be the arms folded ice pick grip. Again, when we're having words or we're trying to figure out, if we're going to kill each other or not, most of it is going to be here. Guys aren't going to be generally looking at their hands. Again, if you're in law enforcement, again, you guys are, working, let me see, put your hands out. What do you have? That type of stuff. So always make sure that you're talking to somebody who's on display. The other would be ice pick grip by your side, which would be just in a regular, or interview position, arms back. Okay. From here, you can practice a variety of combinations. These are just a few to get you started, but your previous training will show you exactly what you need to do. Make sure you keep the weapon protected at all times. Do not get into, this fancy stuff. Okay? You're either slashing with it or stabbing with it. That's it. So we're going to start with arms folded in the hammer grip position, short edge of hand, long edge of hand, stabbing. Okay. Again, we're here. Again. Okay, there's nothing he can do. Nothing he can do. All right? At our side. Okay? Now we're just going to do front kick, tyrant claw, edge of hand, move into him. Doesn't matter. So, doesn't matter. He's not getting a hold of this knife. He doesn't even know it exists until it's too late. As soon as we do this, as soon as he covers up to protect himself, take care. It is over. Fight over. Over. This is why you want to react first and attack. Because again, this is what a good street fighter does. This is what they know. So they know once they have you in a defensive position, it's all over but the screaming. And so when you attack ruthlessly, viciously, and you keep attacking, keep taking ground, keep moving forward. Next, we're going to come from the arms folded ice pick grip. We're going to start just side kick, edge of hand. Now we're coming with a double slash across and a double slash in. Okay. Again. Okay, arms at your side. Now it's going to be short edge of hand, long edge of hand, slash across, side kick, and then repeated stabs about the body. Okay, so here. Kicking, stabbing, striking, everything. Again. You're driving him, attacking him. Okay? That's it. That's it. From just practice a couple of those draws. Okay, again, coming in with the pommel, edge of hand, pommel strike, slash, stab. Once you get him, once you start, there's nothing he's going to be able to do. That's it. That's it. Again, this is why we wait so long to start showing this stuff. Because, there's really technically no defense to it. Once you get him to react, that's it. It's done. It's done. Now we'll just move into proactive fighting from a dynamic position. Now, this is where I've got the weapon drawn and he's in front of me and we're fighting. Okay. This method of fighting with a knife in your hand, if you lose it, you can keep fighting. Okay? It can't matter and it doesn't matter. But trust me, you won't drop it. If you train and practice your grip training and practice the drills that you're going to get on the next, you'll be all set. Now, when openly fighting with the knife, you must remember to protect the weapon. This is your knockout punch. versus an unarmed assailant, it's the same as fighting without a weapon, and the following combinations are just to get you started. From the hammer grip, okay, we're here. We're going to start finger dart, finger dart, edge of hand, stab. That's it. So we're here, we're fighting. That's it. That's it. Next it'll be front kick, edge of hand, double hand stab. Whatever comes out of you. Whatever comes out. Now we'll start with a tiger claw, edge of hand, slash across, stab, midsection. We're here. You start, you attack, there's nothing he's going to be able to do. Nothing. From an ice kick, from an ice pick grip. Okay, we're going to start front kick, tiger claw, pommel strike up, stab, stab, stab down, knee, headbutt, whatever. So. Again, really not waiting for him to attack. Be all over him, explode on him. From the ice pick, again, from this position, your front kick, slash up, stab down. Again, starting, if he starts coming at me here, okay, now I'm just fighting and reacting and stabbing and moving into him. So, again, move, practice, and don't wait. Don't wait. If you're in a knife fight and he doesn't have a knife and you got the knife, well, so be it. So be it. Okay, with the push dagger in the punch position, okay, again, protecting the weapon, finger dart, edge of hand, stab, stab face, stab midsection. Okay, just punch him. Punch, punch, punch. It's the same setup combination we did before. Now we're just holding another weapon. Another weapon. Okay, from another position, short edge of hand, long edge of hand. Okay. Uppercut, knee. Once you start stabbing, you don't stop. Just keep stabbing. Okay? Everything you do preempts your stabs. Every strike, every stab, everything is just to create an opening for you to do more damage. And once you start inflicting damage, then time is running out on him. Okay, don't forget, he's going to fight harder and panic more. When people come to the end, they fight real hard. So don't think that it's going to be, hey, he's just going to lay down. No, he's fighting for his life too. Okay, this is serious stuff. This is not a game. Not a game. Okay, versus somebody with an impact weapon or a club other than an edged weapon, you are going to protect your weapon. The strategy is to, you may have to sacrifice an arm, but you're still going to do exactly what you did before in the empty hand that you learned in the last module. So Roger comes at me. Okay? I step out of the way and I attack. Again, he comes in. Still have your 4 directions to move and you still fight. Okay, the point is you need to protect the weapon and hold that as your knockout punch, but you do not abandon what you already know. You don't need anything special. You got it already. It's in there. Use it. The only time it's going to be different in any situation is versus an edge weapon. That's what we'll go to next. Okay, this is the only time you put the knife in front. In this case, reach is your greatest weapon. Okay, because you're going to hold the knife closer to your body, and he's going to typically want to kind of come out, and he's doing it already, and close the distance between you and the blade. Okay? This time, you're cutting, and that's what you want to get. That's what you need. Keep the knife close. If we're here and dancing around and he steps and stabs at me, moving in. Don't forget, he's trying to do the same thing to you that you're doing to him. Okay? Causing him to extend his reach. If we're focusing on the weapon here, and I'm still kicking. Okay? I still have my feet. I still have my legs. Okay? Okay? Okay, sorry. So kicking, stabbing. Okay? And then once you get the drop on him, once you move, you get him to pause, that's the end of it. Immediately attack. You will get cut, but your chances of surviving are much greater when you get cut incidentally attacking than when he's stabbing you to death. So really, we're looking at that hand kick, front kick, and then slash and stab. Slash and stab. So from that point on, other than this strategy here, tapping, moving, kicking, this. Okay, you want to get caught up in theories and a whole bunch of other stuff, God bless you, have fun. Okay? But the fact is, if you're ever faced with somebody who wants to stab you, okay, it's you or him, okay, this is what's going to come to mind, and this is what's going to work. The rest of the stuff, the theory and all the other is just not happening. It's not happening. Next, we'll move to the second portion, which is going to be reactive, or the last segment, I should say, and that's about a reactive is really a matter of how you conceal the weapon and how you sheath the weapon, and you're going to find that typically in a grappling situation, these are your backup or your primary weapons. You can conceal them about the belt, your boots, your sleeves, your neck. Always carry second and backup primary weapons, because chances are, you're not going to see the attack. You're not going to see the attack. For these reactive self-defense situations, concealment is your best weapon. Again, some of the most popular and easiest places to conceal are the places that I just mentioned. I mean, there's no real training in this per se, but you will practice striking, holding the man, and drawing the weapon. And that's the only technique. The rest of it is just gripping it and stabbing him. Most of this will happen on the ground. So again, if you're going to carry any weapon, it would be a concealed secondary weapon. On the ground, it's just a matter of pulling the weapon from its concealed position. I mean, there are four basic positions to work out of. Don't get too enamored with ground fighting. Again, anybody with a $10 weapon and a little skill and a lot of attitude can put the world's best ground fighter in the morgue. So you're going to practice your drawing weapon from the mount, the guard, in both offensive and defensive positions. You'll really see that from any position, you'll be able to get your hand on your leg or around your waist. For demonstration purposes, I have two sleeve daggers on. Again, these are deployed and pulled straight out, held, driven in the target. Again, these are retail about $9. They also have a nice little pommel on the end. I have two push daggers. I just tucked them in my belt for the time being for the drill. I have a neck knife right here. Good. And then finally the boot knife. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to get in some ground positions, and we'll be putting putting the hand on the weapon so you get an idea of what exactly is going on. Okay, remember, don't abandon what you already know. Keep fighting. If he happens to grab the weapon, just attack. While he's playing around with this, you'll be beating him to death. When you train, use the weapon with your favorite combinations, and then just go from there. So we're going to start on the ground. So we'll be let's just start in a mount position. So worst case scenario, we're up here. I'm locked here. Okay, so now here we're in here. There's my weapon. Now I go to work. If I can reach my boot, again, here's my weapon here. Locking it and pulling it out and working it into my target. Again, clock's ticking, fight's over, working it into anything that's not me. Okay? Anything that's not me. And just go to work. Okay? Get into the guard now. Again, a little bit more defensible. We're hacking here. I pull them up here. Again, here's my sleeve daggers. So the reason why we have two, you know, this arm may be pinned, okay, and if I had this arm free and I couldn't reach it, at least now I can get a hold of it somehow. Again, I can reach down and grab my boot knife. Okay, good. Okay, so now moving from the offensive position, it's done. So, obviously from the mount, we're hacking, we're fighting like we normally do. We wind up in a hold down position. Here we have access to our sleeve dagger. Here we have access to our boot. Okay, really, I mean, that's really all you need to know. Again, now think about it. If I had my boot knife on just my other leg, I'd have to completely reposition myself to go get it. So again, it's on the outside, it's easily accessible, it takes a little stress on this side, so reach over and withdraw the knife. Okay, from the guard position, again, we're sitting, we're fighting, we're moving. Now here, you know, maybe I'm hacking him and now I can get my push dagger out and then I start working him. Okay, then I start working him. You know, we may be, you know, locked up where, you know, one knife flies out, thank you. Okay, where we're locked up in a position here and now I just pull my knife out and start carving them up. Okay, if you're really serious about self-defense and protecting yourself, especially if you're, you know, in law enforcement, I mean, you know, there's certain realities that you have to live in. Again, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Okay, whenever you're training and you're practicing and you're planning on carrying a weapon like this, you need to practice it. You need to practice it. And, you know, you use it, again, with your favorite combinations. You don't need to you don't need me to tell you exactly what to do. Okay, you train, you're intelligent, you've been training this far. It's just a serious business. But again, it's not necessarily a system. It doesn't take, I mean, you've been training so far up to this point, you don't have to wait years to master any of this stuff. Again, you're going to see the drills on the next video, which on the next half of the module, which are going to take you through exactly really how to, you know, make this stuff ballistic. So again, until next time, train hard and train honestly.